The Bob father, Bob McKenzie, dropped his final rankings for the 2025 draft. We dig into them.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today, we continue getting ready for the NHL Draft as we look at Bob McKenzie's final rankings, and we look at some of the popular mock drafts from around the internet to try to kind of figure out who could be in the Sharks range. So let's start with Bob McKenzie. And as I always do with the Bob McKenzie rankings, they are very important because of who Bob McKenzie gets his rankings from. So his rankings are from NHL scouts. So this isn't just Bob, not to say that Bob isn't well connected, doesn't know what he's doing, but this isn't just Bob just kind of sitting there like the rest of us going, I like this guy a little bit more, I like this guy a little bit more, et cetera, type of thing. This is him getting kind of polling scouts from different teams, taking all that data in and kind of compiling it. So I think Bob McKenzie talks to 10 different NHL scouts, kind of gets their polling, how they would rank them, and then puts all that information together. So that's why this is so important, because you're getting a little bit of an insight into what NHL teams are potentially thinking. And yes, 10 scouts, right? That's a small section, but it's better than, again, just you and me or whomever sitting on the couch and be like, I like that guy, or I like that guy, or that guy, he stinks, right? Type of thing. Like, you're getting actual insight from NHL scouts and kind of the process of what they think. So no surprise, I think at the top of Matthew Schaefer is the first one in the class and is like unanimous 10 out of 10. Everyone has Schaefer at number one. Like, he had his whole article, like, kind of explained, even with the small sample size, they just think Schaefer's so good that it doesn't matter. And they go to say, like, mono is mono, and it's a broken bone with with his collarbone. Like, they're not worried about a potential injury history. Like, breaking your bone like that doesn't make you injury prone. It's just more bad luck, to be honest, right? Than anything else. So, Michael Misa, number 2, he had 9 out of 10 scouts ranked him number 2. One scout ranked him number 4, which is interesting, but still, number 2, and that's kind of what we were expecting. And then from there, it's really kind of opens up, right? They currently have Porter Martone at number 3. Anton Frondell, who I know all Sharks fans right now are kind of holding their breath for Friday about if the Sharks potentially pass on Misa to pick a guy like Frondell or Martone. Caleb Dene at number 5. Jake O'Brien, number 6. James Higgins at number 7. Brady Martin at number 8. Roger McQueen at number 9. And then Victor Eklund, brother, of course, of William Eklund, at number 10. So I think out of the top 10, the interesting ones are James Higgins sliding to 7, a guy who was thought to be potential first pick in the draft heading into this draft year, right? With Higgins. And, I feel like people have kind of picked apart his game a little bit too much, right? And like, he still put up a fine season, and maybe expectations were a little bit too high, et cetera, et cetera. But I do think like Higgins is worthy of being a top pick in this draft. And I think whoever selects James Higgins is probably going to be super happy with James Higgins in the long run. And, like I get he's 5'11" or whatever, 5'10.5", right? I think is his official height, and he had 35 points in 35 games as a freshman in the NCAA. I still think like Higgins has the runway to be a very, very excellent player in the NHL. And he might be one of those players where maybe not like how did he slide, but I think we might look back as why were we so unfair to him type of players. So, but for the Sharks though, it does like, I know everyone's very much like, are the Sharks going to pass? I'm still very much in the camp of Mike Greer is just going to take the best player. And I think Michael Misa after Schaefer is the best player. And I think most scouts, 9 out of 10 dentists agree Michael Misa is the best player, at least the best forward in this draft. And if Schaefer's gone, I think the Sharks would be very happy to get Michael Misa and try to figure things out later. And maybe, again, you need a more kind of north-south forward at some point. I don't know. I'm very much in the like, just get the best players and try to figure it out later because people don't develop, people change, like their games change, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not trying to pigeonhole what the Sharks are trying to do here. So, skipping down to kind of the end of the first round, because there's so much intrigue too around what the Sharks are going to do with this pick here with pick number 30. And of course they have 33 as well. And then they have pick 53. So just kind of looking at some of the players who are potentially available for San Jose, at least with his rankings for number 30. So he has Malcolm Spence at 25, which a guy I think has kind of fallen a little bit in the draft process here. Milton Gastrin at number 26, Will Horcroft at 27, Blake Fiddler at 28, which is very interesting. Bill Zonin at 29, Eric Nielsen at 30, a guy we know Will Scouch very much loves. I still wonder if that's a Mike Greer type of player, but anyway, Riker Lee out of the USHL, right winger at number 31, Henry Brzustewicz at number 32, and then Jack Murtaugh at number 33. Joshua Ravensbergen at the goalie at number 34, and then Alexander Zorovsky out of the MHL over in Russia, 6'1" winger at number 35. So those are kind of guys in the range there, I think, for the Sharks to kind of really, expect to potentially pick one of those guys. I know a lot of people are very like on the pick Ravensbergen, and then you have you have Askarov and Ravensbergen type of situation. I think the Sharks probably head in a different direction. I still expect them to pick a goalie at some point, just because I'm very much in the pick a goalie every year camp. I think you could use those resources elsewhere, and especially if the Sharks go Misa at number 1, I would be surprised if they didn't pick a defenseman with either 30 or 33. Like, I think they're going to try to add another defenseman in the pool there. And there's a couple guys, again, like Blake Fiddler, Henry Brzustewicz, I think are two guys to kind of circle, at least in that range. So you also have a couple kind of sliding down, like Simon Wang, who I know a lot of Sharks fans are potentially interested because of how his size and his mobility, and just how raw he is. He's ranked at number 42. I think another guy to kind of circle in that range as well too. So looking kind of a little bit further down at the Sens pick with pick 53. Couple guys to kind of keep an eye on there. Cameron Schmidt, who's number 47. Mason West, who's an interesting story about a kind of a football player who's kind of focusing now on playing hockey. It's also 6'5", big boy there too. Shane Vanzaghi, who we've talked about as well, like very much pro-ready type of player. Maybe not the most offense, but 6'2" right wing, I think would be a Mike Greer type of pick. You have Jacob Brombach, a defenseman at 6'6". At number 49, Matthew Gard, a center from the WHL. Carter Amico So Amico is an interesting guy because he's 6'5", right-handed defenseman playing with the U.S. and U.S. national team, but had a knee injury this year and kind of knocked him out for most of the season. Headed to Boston to play college hockey, but was projected to be a first-round pick at some point. So he could be a guy that I think especially if he's your fourth pick, that could be a guy worth taking a swing on there. And because if he hits, you're going to get like a middle pairing type of player. So you also have Tyler Hopkins, Ethan Zetza. Probably messed up that name, but he's in the OHL. He's I believe a Czech player originally. Nathan Bem, Kerbin Limatov, who we talked about on this show as well, and then Peyton Kettles. Just some guys to kind of keep in mind, at least in that number 53 spot as well. So yeah, Bob McKenzie's rankings came out. Very, very important to the process. So we're going to look at some mock drafts here and kind of see what other people are projecting for the Sharks to pick. Again, rankings and mock drafts, two separate things. So we'll dig into some mock drafts here in just 1 second. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. Wonderful pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I like the in-shell variety. I like hearing that little crack every time you open one up. It's like a snack meditation. But if you like the no shells, I'm not going to shell shame you. Plenty of great flavors to choose from. Plenty of options. Again, shell or no shell, they got you covered there. And each one of these green wonders packs a protein punch. I like throwing a bag in my desk at work. Right around 2:30, you get that snacky feeling. They got you covered. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. All right, guys, before we continue, we look at some of the mock drafts here. Do, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to subscribe, as, of course, is draft week, right? We have the draft on Friday, on Saturday. I will be in LA, credentialed, so you will get interviews from the newest Sharks players, boots on the ground, as they like to say, from me being in LA, all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So make sure you guys are following along. Wherever you get podcasts, and of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Okay, so again, rankings, mock drafts, different. So we're going to look at 4 different mock drafts here as people have been, as we're entering that last week here, people have been kind of putting out their mock drafts and who they think is going to go where. So we will start with the Athletic. This one was a round table with Corey Proman, Scott Wheeler, Max Boltzmann, and then I believe also Chris Peters as well. So 4-man kind of weave here going through this one. So they had Matthew Schaefer, of course, going number 1 to the Islanders. Number 2, they had Michael Misa going, of course, to the San Jose Sharks. Wheeler went with what's become the chalk pick here in Misa, but noted he's heard coming out of the combine the Sharks may have some sneaky interest in Deone or Anton Frondell. That could at least make it a debate. After following up reporting since then, he still feels content to stick with Misa, but it's a conversation is noteworthy. Again, you can be interested in checking out whatever one out, right? Cross your T's, dot your I's, et cetera, et cetera. Probably wondered what the logic would be for the Sharks to pick one of Frondell or Deone over Misa. And Wheeler pointed to Deone in particular being perhaps the perfect 2C to slot behind Macklin, celebrating, and he fits the role to a T, maybe more so than some of the other players do. Still, Michael Misa is the consensus choice here, Wheeler says. 6'1" center with 134 points, 60 goals. We've talked about it. I think he's the guy here. And I think the interesting thing here is Anton Frondell going with the second or the third pick here to the Blackhawks. And if you're Mike Greer, right, and maybe you think the Blackhawks really love Frondell, maybe that's why you're kind of generating some of the buzz. See if you can maybe make them make that panic trade to come up and get Frondell. But again, we'll see. Friend of the show, Cam Robinson, actually just tweeted out a little bit ago that he thinks Frondell doesn't get past 3. So would make a ton of sense for the Blackhawks to trying to find a friend for Connor Bedard. Frondell, I think, would make a lot of sense for them there. So Deone's number 4, Brady Martin number 5, Hagen's number 6 to the Flyers, Jake O'Brien number 7 to the Bruins, Porter Martone number 8 to the Kraken, Roger McQueen number 9, and then Keyshawn Aitchison number 10. Victor Eklund slides to 13 by the Red Wings there. Maybe they're making up for past problems by not picking Eklund long ago. Looking at the bottom of the draft here, they have 27 Milton Gastrin to the Caps, 28 Blake Fiddler to the Jets, 29 Henry Brzustewicz to the Hurricanes. That leaves Bill Zonin at 30 for the San Jose Sharks in this draft. I think. I would love to get Bills. Don't get me wrong, getting Bills on it would be great, but you have to feel like that's a kind of a worst case scenario, at least the way the board broke this way. Having both Fiddler and Brzustewicz taken right in front of you, knowing the Sharks desperately want to add a right-handed defenseman. I think that would be a little bit tough pill to see that, but again, Bill Zonin, I think, would be an awesome pick for like a complete Mike Grier guy, and the Sharks would be extremely happy, I think, to get Zonin, but I think it'd be a little tough just to see how the board broke that way. So looking at a Bleacher Report, so this one was done, I got to scroll all the way back up now. This one was done by Lyle Richardson on June 19th, so right before the weekend. So, of course, also has Matthew Schaefer going number 1, Michael Misa going number 2 to the Sharks. He writes, Misa would prove irresistible for the San Jose Sharks. They're already well set at center with young stars Mac Celebrini and Will Smith. The latter can also play right wing, as we know. Give them the flexibility to play Misa at center when he cracks lineup. He can also play left wing, too. Steven also expects Misa to play as a winger in the NHL, seeing he's the best offensive instincts of any player in the draft. Ryan Kennedy singled out his powerful shot and improved 200-foot game, and Corey Pronman noticed his ability to improvise, creativity, and vision. The presence of riding season stars Celebrini and Smith means the Sharks won't have to rush Misa into the lineup for next season. If he proves NHL ready this fall, he could help this rebuilding team move another step closer to a brighter future. Future steel, baby. He has Martone going number 3 to the Blackhawks, Hagen's number 4 to Utah, Deone's to the Preds, Frondell going to the Flyers. I think the Flyers will be stoked with that. Victor Eklund going to the Bruins. I don't see it, to be honest. I think the Bruins want some more size. Merca going to the Kraken, McQueen going to the Sabres, and then you have Carter Bear dealing with his injuries going to the Ducks. But if you're the Ducks team, you could definitely let him kind of sit and kind of, especially with the way their prospect pool is. For the 30th pick, so kind of the picks right before that, Kindle going to the Preds with the pick that the Sharks used to trade for Askarov. Nesbitt going to the Caps. I think Nesbitt will probably go higher because of his size. Blake Fiddler going to the Jets at number 28. Milton Gastrin going to the Hurricanes at number 25. Then Henry Brzustewicz going to the Sharks at number 30. So he writes, with his choice, they could consider adding a right shot defenseman among their top prospect. Brzustewicz of the OHL's London Knights could be a good option for them. He sits number 19, the NHL Central Scouting's ranking of North American skaters. Brzustewicz made significant improvements in his sophomore campaign with the Knights. The 6'1", 194-pound blue liner finished with their top 10 scores with 42 points in 67 games. So And then you have Ivan Rybikin at number 31 and Daniel Prokhorov at number 32, just to kind of round out the picks there. So one mock draft, getting Brzustewicz, one mock draft, you just met on Brzustewicz, but getting Bill Zonin, I think, like, if you walked away with Brzustewicz or Zonin at pick number 30, assuming the Sharks don't trade that pick, feels like it's going to be a really nice draft, especially with Misa at number 1, right? And Zonin is a 100% Mike Grier type of player, and Brzustewicz, low floor but insanely high ceiling with him. So we're going to look at some other mock drafts, including a mock draft that doesn't have the Sharks taking Misa at number 2. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. All right, before we finish up, do of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On NHL podcast. There's no off season. Bring your daily league-wide story. We cover your daily league-wide stories that matter the most from local coverage you love from Locked On. Find Locked On NHL on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, let's look at 2 more here, including Chris Peters, friend of the show, what he does with the San Jose Sharks. So, of course, he has the Islanders picking Matthew Schaefer. He says they could take local boy James Higgins, but in the end, it seems like the consensus to kind of win out. Schaefer, the team's number 1 future defenseman, and by far the best prospect and the biggest foundational block for their future on top of that. So he has the Sharks taking Frondell at number 2. Since the combine, there have been rumblings that the Sharks could prefer Anton Frondell over Michael Misa. In recent weeks, chatter in the scouting circles is that this is more than just a theory, but a real possibility. Why would the Sharks pass on Michael Misa? This is not a majority opinion, but there are a few teams that seem to have the Swedish pivot ahead of Misa. There's some belief that Frondell offers a more complete game, including better defensive capabilities, has a size and strength advantage without giving away as much offense. The question among scouts waiting to see what San Jose does is they're going against consensus. It seems to suggest Misa's the clear number 2 prospect. It's a fascinating discussion. In the end, I think picks 2 and 3 will ultimately be Frondell and Misa, but suddenly that order is not so certain. Again, I see it like I just think Misa's a better player than Frondell. Like, I just think Misa's a better player. So he does have Misa going number 3 to the Blackhawks. I think Chicago would be happier to pick Frondell. The roles reversed, but Misa there is second high octane performer. Give Chicago 2 exceptional status players in their top 6 with Misa and Bedard. I think Misa's got a chance to be a solid number 2 center, but he could be someone that also rides shotgun with Bedard, with one of the 2 of them being the line center. So then he's to number 4 to the Mammoth. Roger McQueen, number 5 to the Preds, which I think would be hilarious. Do not want any part of Roger McQueen. That guy scares me. Back injuries, especially that young, scare me. Flyers picking Jake O'Brien also would be, again, yeah. Brady Martin, number 7 to the Bruins. Porter Martone, number 8. Hagen's number 9, which is like the Sabres would be laughing to the bank if they got number 9. Aitchison, number 10. Victor goes again to the Red Wings in this one. Murtka goes to the Rangers here. And then at the end of the draft, he has Ravensburgen to the Preds, which would be hilarious that they traded away Askarov just to turn and draft Ravensburgen with the same pick. Would be really funny to me. But Caps pick Prokhorov at number 27. Bill Zonin goes to the Jets at number 28. Colin Potter to the Hurricanes, and then Brzustewicz to the Sharks with pick number 30. Sharks are going heavy on forwards at the draft, and while they have a blue chip D prospect in Sam Dickinson, adding more puck-moving strength to the back end will be useful. It just so happens they can add Dickinson's frequent D partner in this range. The defenseman remaining Brzustewicz seems to possess the most potential. Horkoff and Kindle are the next 2 players off there. So, yeah. If you want to pick Frondell, like, I get it. I feel like you're just leaving you're leaving something special on the table is what I feel like. So, all right. Looking at Yahoo, this was done by Jim Kearney on June 23rd. Sorry, excuse me. Schaefer, of course, Isles. He has Misa to the Sharks. Coming off one of the most impressive goal-scoring campaigns ever seen in the OHL, Misa knows where to get the puck and fire at will. Though he has the ability to play both center and wing, Misa projects more as a winger at the NHL level and has the best offensive instincts of any player in this draft. Misa is the first player in Saginaw history to win the Eddie Powers Trophy as the top scorer in the OHL, finishing the regular season with 134 points, 62 goals, 72 assists. He tied John Tavares for the most points by an OHL player under age 18 since 2000. Every time I see Misa, I was impressed with his complete game. Central Scouting Associate Director David Gregory said, I was so impressed of how responsible a center he was on his side of the red line. I still think if Misa's your second line center, that's what the Sharks going to do. Frondell at number 3, Dionese at number 4, McQueen at number 5. Again, Jake O'Brien, Hagens to the Bruins. I could see that. Martone, number 8. Eklund goes to the Sabres. Keishon Aitchison, number 10. Merca, number 11 as well. Looking at the bottom of the draft here for the Sharks. So you have same thing, Prokhorov to the Caps. Yeah, Bill Zahn to the Jets. Murtaugh to the Hurricanes. And then Henry Brzustewicz to the San Jose Sharks. So again, it's a mock draft, but hopefully we can manifest this. So Horkoff at number 31 and Kindle at number 32 again to kind of round things out here. So, yeah, we're playing I still think it's going to be Misa number 2, and then like I said, if Brzustewicz is there, I think that might be the pick for the Sharks, right? And especially the Sharks who have gotten a chance to watch a lot of London games this year, right? With both Dickinson and with Kasper Halttunen playing for London. The guy, Dickinson and Brzustewicz were partners for a majority of the season. I know Brzustewicz, again, very wide variety of outcomes for him. But I think in this draft, just you swing for the fences, and especially if you do land Misa number 1 and you feel like you're going to hit a home run with Misa, and then you do have 2 other picks, right, at 33 and at 53. You have some options here, and I think Brzustewicz is a guy worth taking a swing on here and seeing if he can hit. Because again, he's going to be one of those guys who's probably either never going to be an NHL player, or if he hits, you're probably getting a really good NHL player out of him. So, and the Sharks, I don't like to force need, but the Sharks really do need some more talent injected into the blue line. And you see these guys at the late first, early second, you see these defensemen pop all the time. And I think you just keep taking swings on them until you find one that pops for you. So, but yeah, that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow. Most likely going to be reacting to, I think, Mike Greer's holding his before the draft media availability. So we'll kind of react to that. So make sure you're following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.